Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the Dungeons and Dragons official Discord server is the topic of conversation today. And you know what? It kind of got me thinking about the Discord servers of some of these other games and IPs and whatnot, like Helldivers, for example, or just all these other Discord servers that are run by community managers for certain video games, and the kind of commonality that is happening between all of them, which is eventually the Discord servers get overtaken by woke activists. And this is no different for Dungeons and Dragons. Now, if you guys are unaware, Dungeons and Dragons have been co-opted for quite a while now. I mean, everybody knows Dungeons and Dragons have been doing some weird stuff with their video game or their games lately and whatnot. But apparently the Discord server is so overrun with activists that they decided to say that anybody who is claiming to be anti-woke are bigots online. The game is super gay. All this absolute nonsense, and basically talking about anything other than the actual game itself.
Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this really shouldn't be very shocking, okay? Because anybody who's been following the conversation about Dungeons and Dragons has known for a while now that this particular IP is absolutely cooked in terms of identity politics. They are focusing on this so much that they decided to make the most ugly, diverse orcs that I've ever seen in my entire life. They did the Mexican orcs. Everybody was making fun of them back in the day when they came out with this picture. And it's because they are trying to utilize Dungeons and Dragons as a means of DEI. And they even attack the original creator of Dungeons and Dragons. They villainize him. They make him seem like he's just this, racist white guy, essentially. And it ends up being the conversation where, okay, if we know this is happening, why do we expect any less? So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Polls. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Dungeons and Dragons has received a lot of attention for its denigration of its own property in recent days by woke activists inside of Wizard of the Coast. With a look inside the official D&D Discord server, the woke seem to be all the customers they have left. Now, when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, okay, Dungeons and Dragons is already a niche product as it is for the most part. Obviously, it's well known in the nerdosphere, but ultimately it is still pretty niche in terms of mainstream popularity, right? Tabletop games, for the most part, are pretty niche in terms of mainstream popularity. Not that they don't have big followings, because don't get me wrong, obviously Warhammer has a huge following. But when you compare Warhammer's following to anything else that's considered mainstream, it gets dwarfed. It's not even close, right? So that's why I call it niche overall. It's not an insulting term. It's just to classify the level of following that these two particular things have in comparison to each other. But Dungeons and Dragons has been known for being co-opted for a while. We've seen all kinds of nonsense come out from Wizard of the Coast for a long time now. And it's not even just with Dungeons and Dragons. It's damn near with everything that they own. Wizards of the Coast is being boycotted by a lot of people. Not everybody, but a lot of people, simply because of the nonsense they've been pulling over the last couple of years. But to make it seem like it's happening just now, it's not. It's been happening for a while. Controversies escalated this year with the new 2024 edition of Dungeons & Dragons, signaling the game is now an outlet for extreme leftist propaganda and sexual fetish roleplay. The 2024 Masters Dungeons Guide infamously has incorporated BDSM fetish community practices in the game for safe spaces, having players make an X with their arms if they feel triggered by a situation, and requiring a dungeon master to stop the game and address the player in question. Are you kidding me? I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. Are you serious right now? Like, what? What world do we live in? Are you kidding me that you are going to, you know what? Anyway, I'm going to keep going. I'm not even going to bother. The 2024 Player's Handbook is filled with the imagery of BIPOC and female characters at a margin of more than 5-1 for white male characters, about the direct opposite of the demographics who play the game, which again, they know this, right? They know this. They don't care about the demographics. They don't even care about the demographics of the United States. All right, let's be real. If you cared about the demographics of the United States, you would be questioning why there is so much people of color over-corrected representation in media, and why it's so obviously superficial when they try to say, well, we're just trying to represent people. Yeah, but you're trying to represent them in a way that is completely and utterly nonsensical most of the time, and numerically speaking, doesn't make sense. But okay, that's neither here nor there. Can you tell a good story at least? No? Oh, that's a shame. One D&D race also had its entire history removed to get rid of slavery. And then there's the constant push to humanize orcs. Now, this is one thing that I can't stand, bro. bro, when I tell you I cannot stand this shit, I really mean it. I cannot stand the ridiculous attempt to humanize orcs in all of these fantasy IPs. They're doing it with Lord of the Rings, with Rings of Power, and they're doing it with Dungeons and Dragons, with Wizards of the Coast and whatnot. They're doing it in all of these fantasy IPs. You want to know why? Because for them, these white liberals that are doing this stuff, because we know that the majority of them are white gay liberals, let's be real with you, but these white liberals are out here humanizing orcs for one reason and one reason only, because it's the same white liberals that will tell you that orcs are a black stereotype. These are the same white liberals that will tell you that they see black people in orcs and that it's racist. So they try to humanize orcs because they don't want it to be a bad analogy to black people. Even though they are the only ones who saw black people in orcs. None of us saw black people in orcs, but they're the only ones who saw it, and then they claim we are racist if we don't see it. It's one of those things where it's like media literacy. They try to utilize media literacy as a means to try to pretend like they're so much more intelligent because they found something in a story. They totally saw it when nobody else saw it, even though it's not really there. They're choosing to try to tie it to something in real life so that they could try to claim that, oh, look, this was always there. You just never saw it. See, progressiveness wins or whatever. It's the most ridiculous thing. But yes, to be clear, they saw black people in orcs, and this is why they are trying to humanize orcs every chance they get to try to showcase better representation for what they feel represents black people, at least in terms of looks. It's absolutely insane. One image even portrays the orcs as family of Mexicans, making for a completely insulting depiction of Latinos in the name of diversity. Again, I don't know of a single Latino that wanted to see themselves in a fucking orc, but again, here we are. That's what we're doing. This prompted Elon Musk to beg the question as to how much Hasbro costs for him to buy the parent company of Wizards of the Coast and save D&D from all of these woke controversies. Inside the official D&D Discord server, however, all sanity has evaporated. When normal players exited the game in droves, it seems all that are left are the woke activists they are signaling to. Now, I got to tell you guys, I absolutely love the meme of like Elon Musk buying everything. I think it is hilarious, but I also think it's impractical, right? The man can't buy everything. He cannot own everything, and he cannot save everything. We need to start saving these IPs in other ways, and that's if they are even salvageable in the first place. And I don't think D&D is salvageable. I just don't. It was already a niche product as it is. Now you've turned off a lot of the majority of your fan base, and you're left with a certain kind of fan that likes to make everything about politics. I mean, look at this shit. It's ridiculous. Phantom Pulse obtained several screenshots of people complaining about Elon Musk and wondering if D&D is actually even woke enough. So I heard rumors going around that Elon Muskrat is buying D&D, one user said. Another with he, they pronouns called Musk petty and whiny on social media before complaining about bigots online. Look at these guys panicking. They're panicking. You want to know why? Because in any other timeline, if Elon Musk were to threaten that he were to buy something in order to save it, these people would never believe it because they would never believe it to be true, right? They would never think it would actually happen. But unfortunately for them, we live in a timeline where Elon Musk purchased Twitter and changed the entire course of an election. It's absolutely insane, right? So the fact that he bought Twitter makes anything possible, literally anything. And they know that he could buy Hasbro because Hasbro is a dime in the bucket compared to Twitter. They know he could buy it. It's not a threat. The man actually can buy it if he wanted to. Then a third user says, but D&D is like by nature so gay. And then said every person I played with was so queer. Yeah, of course they were. Of course they were. Every person was so queer, so gay. Everything is always gay, right? We live in a time of gay, gay, gay. If you're not gay, then that means you just don't see yourself being gay yet. You don't even know that you're gay. It's so queer, right? Walking on the sidewalk, queer. Eating a hamburger, queer. Drinking a soda, so queer, right? Everything you do is queer. That's because these people want to see queerness in everything. When queerness used to just mean strange, and now they co-opted the word and they tried to make it gay. When you ask people, what does it mean to be queer? They give you 8 different identities that have 8 different meanings. The word queer has no meaning to them. The discussion goes on despite several of these players acknowledging the moderators of the server probably won't like the discussion on the topic, but it's clear that in the official spaces, the woke are allowed to run rampant and be controversial, while normal players who would question such motives are not present. One such player came to Phantom Pulse privately, voicing his concern that if he spoke up in the D&D official Discord, he would likely be banned for voicing contrary opinions to the woke. He says, I sometimes pop into the Discord channel. The old-time D&D player said, I searched Elon to see what the general consensus was about the thought of him buying Hasbro. What a woke mess it is out there. You can't even talk about Elon in the general chat without someone shutting you down and trying to change the subject. You can't bring up rumors or talk about it in there. What a mess. So again, guys, D&D, it is what it is, man. Unfortunately, I think it's not salvageable. I really don't. I as sad as that is to say, I don't believe it to be salvageable. I think we are going to witness the fall of D&D over time. It's just going to be that kind of a thing. It's not as popular as Warhammer in the sense, I really do feel like Warhammer is more popular, but hey, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I'll be glad to be wrong. But ultimately, I do think we're witnessing the downfall of these IPs that were known and loved within the nerdosphere for a long time, but now unfortunately they've been co-opted by people that just want to see gay in literally everything they do, from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.